Was welcome everybody to the stream. I'm amazed that you guys are here. Thank you for joining. It's crazy because when I was asked to be on this panel or to do this, I was like, dude, who knows me as a video game person? I'm just some weirdo who goes on YouTube and then posts adventure videos out in the forest. But actually, the explanation for why I'm here will lead into the talk itself. So why don't we just get started? Nobody likes long introductions. So, as you know, my name is Robby Huang. I have a YouTube channel where my friends and I, we go out and we backpack in the forest. And then I also have a personal vlog where I usually just do laundry and daily activities. But I also occasionally go to Japan and I'll do retro game hunting. And then even in the US, sometimes I do retro game hunting too. But what am I doing here? I don't know. I don't even think I'm qualified. But let's get started. I'm going to play a sound for you. Do you recognize that sound? I think anybody who plays video games probably recognizes that sound. How about this one? That was actually my ringtone for many years. But those sounds are both from Metal Gear Solid. Obviously, I think most of you guys know that. But the reason I brought these sounds up specifically is because in 2008, I was living in New York City at the time, and Metal Gear Solid 4 was set to be released on June 12th. And Hideo Kojima was actually coming into town to Virgin Records, and I went, and I've got some footage. Hold on. Okay, yeah, and I got some footage from the event. Okay, I'm going to show some more of that a little bit later, but that was the line that we were waiting in. And man, it was an amazing night. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But for those of you who are familiar with the NeoGAF forums from back in the day, there was a guy on the forums who wanted to go to this signing, but he didn't live in New York. And I said, you can stay at my place, no problem, with the obvious stipulation that when we actually got the game, I would be the one playing it because there was only one TV. But quick side note related to that, I worked with a guy at the time named Derek Liu. And Derek Liu is a video game trailer editor. And he has done, you've guaranteed seen his work, but most recently he did Half-Life Alyx's trailer. But he did this great mashup of Snake asking questions. I want to show a clip of that too.
Questions, approach, launch, PAL, remains, cell specimens, strengthened, gene therapy, the sons of Big Boss.
Okay. Actually, I want to post links for all the stuff that I'm going to be mentioning. This is Derek's video, if you guys want to watch that. Maybe wait until afterwards because it'll be kind of hard to watch both at the same time. But oh, and he's only done one more event since then. That's crazy. Anyway, okay, so fast forward to 2020. Two interesting things have happened. First, that same guy from the NeoGAF forums, somehow he found my videos. And I never took any pictures of him at the time. I couldn't remember his name. I just vaguely had this memory that this happened. But somehow he found my videos, and I think he found my hiking videos first, but then he found my personal vlog channel. And that was a really interesting thing to have happen. I was like, oh, that's weird. But then almost at the same time, I posted a video of my original Metal Gear Solid fan movie that my friends and I made in high school. And I'm going to play that for you real quick, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so obviously this is a fan movie we made in high school. We got a whole like Snake versus Ninja scene coming up. But this was way before YouTube. This was in 2001. And I'm really glad that we had made this back before YouTube because I can only imagine the comment section for something like this now would have turned me off of making videos for literally the rest of my life. I would have just been like, okay, I'm done. But man, at the time we were super proud of it. I remember thinking like, oh, we should send this into IGN. They're going to be like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, and I look at it now, it's quite laughable. We'll let that play. But anyway, okay. one of the guys who's in charge of making the panels for this event, he was also at that Virgin Records signing, coincidentally. And he found my videos at about the same time. It's like, oh yeah, you go to Japan and check out retro games, and you had this weird Metal Gear fan movie and everything. So anyways, that's why I'm here. So long story short, I'm going to be talking about nostalgia, Kojima, and I'm going to give you a look more of like gaming nostalgia from the past with a big focus on some of my experiences from Japan. And I'll show you clips of what it's like to retro shop in Japan and what it's like to live there. We got a whole bunch of stuff. And then we'll also close it out with talking a little bit about what makes Kojima so special and why are his games, they have like a certain something to them. Like we obviously can't get too deep into it because that would take days to actually parse all of that. But we'll try to get into it a little bit. And then we'll even talk about how Kojima himself embraces nostalgia in his games. And maybe he's even like the most nostalgic game creator. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. So for me, nostalgia isn't just a wish to return to the past. It's more of an increased appreciation for the life we've already lived. I'm going to play you a clip from Dave Chappelle's Mark Twain thing, Netflix special on Netflix. Yes, that's what a Netflix special is. But this will kind of, let me play the clip.
Beyond being an incredible performer, he is an incredible human being. I remember a moment one time we were at a party. Someone came up to him to ask for a photo. And he said, hey, we're not here to take pictures. We're here to make memories. And that's a beautiful sentiment. And that's how he lives his life. He treats every moment like it has a potential to be a wonderful memory, you know?
Okay, so for me, obviously, I still love to take videos and pictures, but that sentiment is something that I really share. And it's a huge part of how I like to live my life, and especially how I like to live my life when it comes to gaming. If you're watching this, I'm sure you're probably like me, and you have lots of like these moments in your gaming life where you were just like, oh yeah, this was like a thing back then. I vividly remember the first time I played the Metal Gear Solid demo from the official PlayStation magazine. Let me see if I can get this on camera here. Yes. Okay, so this is actually disc number 12, and this is the one that had the video version of the Metal Gear Solid demo. And for those of you who were there at the time, man, when they had announced Metal Gear Solid, it was the way they talked about it in magazines really made it seem like it was the second coming. And you were just going to be like, oh my God, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And I don't even think I had a subscription. Did I have a subscription? I might have had a subscription at the time, but I was eagerly awaiting disc number 13 that actually had the demo. I'm trying to read that. Oh, it's at the top. Yeah, near playable demos. I can't reach that far, but you can see it at the top. Metal Gear Solid. Oh my God, dude. So anyway, when that came out, I was at my cousin's house and we were in their TV room. And obviously I'd heard so much about how amazing this game was. All of my cousins were gathered around. This is how we used to play games. It was like everybody would gather around and one person would play. Even if it wasn't multiplayer, we'd all play together. But it's just like such an experience. And that moment would have been amazing even if I was completely by myself. But when you have like the context surrounding it, it makes it even better. Like nostalgia improves games. When Metal Gear Solid actually came out and I got my hands on it, I had a sleepover with a bunch of my friends. We rented the game from Blockbuster, which is a whole topic on its own. I'm sure somebody could do an entire panel just on memories of Blockbuster. Man, Blockbuster, man, rest in peace. But we played through the majority of the game in one night. This is actually not the copy. I'll talk about that in a second. But there's a section of the game where you need to call Meryl on your codec. I'm sure many of you guys will remember this. Hopefully that'll focus. Yep. Okay. And then you actually needed the back of the box to get her codec. It's 140.15. That might also be ingrained in some people's memories. I vaguely remember it. Now that I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, 140.15. Yeah, I remember that. But anyways, that was 1998. Was that 1998? Yeah, 1998. So the internet was a thing then. So we were able to look that up because obviously when you rent from Blockbuster, you don't have the case also, but it took us a while to find it. But that type of memory, that, like when I play Metal Gear Solid now, that is the thing that I think about. The specifics of the game, like they can get kind of fuzzy, but those moments like, oh yeah, we had a sleepover. We played through almost the entire game. We had to look for Meryl's codec frequency on the internet. It's just such good times. But about this game, I actually didn't buy this right when it came out because all the reviews were saying it was too short. And it's, maybe you guys don't have this experience. I've certainly had this experience. As I've gotten older, shorter games are better. I'm like, oh yeah, give me that short, good experience. That's fantastic. I appreciate that so much more than like Persona 5, man. Persona 5 is one of the best games I've ever played. But I could only play 40 hours of it because I was just like, dude, I got to move on to other things. I can't keep playing this game. I still want to go back and finish it at some point. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm not sure if any of you are fans of My Life in Gaming. They did a panel earlier today, and I totally forgot about it and just realized I didn't see it. But they're my one of absolutely favorite YouTube channels. Every time they have a video come out, I drop everything to watch it. But their name is interesting because I think that name kind of speaks to what I'm talking about. All right, let's play a video here. I want to play a clip from one of their videos.
It's just nostalgia. Rose-tinted glasses, tedious, outdated, unfair. But is it really just nostalgia? The old systems, the old games, the history that surrounds them? Is there something of value there that goes beyond merely being childhood favorites? For many, classic gaming is not just a wistful longing after faint memories, the feel of inserting a cartridge, the soft glow of a CRT. In some homes, these are still everyday experiences.
I love that line, the feel of inserting a cartridge. Hold on, we gotta play that again.
For many, classic gaming is...
Where did he say that? The feel of inserting a cartridge.
Is there something of value...
Sorry.
Feel of inserting a cartridge.
Yes. Yes. Try. You get me, try. Okay, but so it's not just about nostalgia. There's a certain quality to older games. And for me, I think personally a big part of the appeal of games in general, but especially older games, is the feel of the games. There's nothing quite like having like the original cartridge and then you got like a wired controller where there's just no latency and you got the glow of the CRT. It's different than just playing on an emulator. And maybe that's just a placebo effect to some extent, but there certainly is latency issues for sure. But like, look at my buddy Michael. We'll get to him in a minute, but look at his controllers.
You can't play video games without controllers. So I need this. Right there, wishes for Christmas on.
Oh yeah, just look at that scene right there. People playing video games together in front of a CRT, that's magical. Okay, this is actually my video game setup right here, my current retro setup. I'm not sure why I put a clip of that in here, but there it is, such as it is. A lot of my stuff's put away. I try to only leave stuff out that I'm actually using, and right in there is the Mister. But we're going to talk about the Mister right now, actually, because for me, a big part of retro gaming is authenticity of it, and it's not so much I want to experience in all of its original form, even if the form was kind of ugly. I don't know if you guys know what a Mister is, but let me change the camera angle. This is a FPGA machine to where you can basically, oh man, I feel like it would take a whole nother panel to explain this, and I'm certainly not the person who should explain it, but My Life in Gaming, Smoke Monster, Bob from Retro RGB, they could all explain it much better. And you guys are probably well aware of it. But I mainly game on the Mister these days because I can have analog out into my TV plus HDMI. And then also this guy right here, the Super NT. Oh yeah, focus. I got one of the clear discontinued ones. But I just love these because the feel is so accurate. A lot of people, well, quick side note, when I played Earthbound for the first time on the Wii U, I felt like I was missing something because it wasn't in its original form. Also, the emulation was really bad on the Wii U version of that, so that exacerbated the issue. But I feel like some part of the experience was diminished by not experiencing it in its original form on a CRT. I mean, there's a lot of opinions on that. Like, I have an OSSC as well, so I don't look down on that. And I certainly think there's a lot of people who can enjoy the... Wait, I lost my place in my speech here. Okay, but yeah, I certainly think there's a lot of people who could enjoy the games just for what they are, and they're not as anal about that type of thing. But anyways, I'm getting way off track. So, okay, I was going to talk about the mini systems next. Okay, let me see if I have a little setup here. I'm going to see if and also let me check the chat real quick. Yeah. Okay, just make sure I didn't miss any. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask those as well. Oh, and I definitely like Sega Saturn games. Saturn games are fantastic. I actually just started my collection recently on those. Okay, let's see. Is this working? Switch over. Ah, dang. Okay, well, I was hoping that would work. Wait, hold on. Maybe I can still make this happen. Is it working? Maybe? Yes? Okay, fantastic. All right. So I also have got the retro mini boxes. Most of these are kind of decorative because I obviously have the Mister and the Super NT. These are kind of spoilers for later in the talk. But it's really nice to have these. These are great for anybody who just wants a quick hit of nostalgia. Maybe not so much this guy. I shouldn't have spent $35 on that. I think this thing went as low as $20, and that's when I should have bit. But at $35, it's like, okay, I got to do it. I got to get it. I just want that tiny little PlayStation. So these are my mostly decorative mini consoles. But that brings me to my buddies Warren and Ken. Warren is actually in the chat right now. And they brought a Retron 5 to the Portland Retro Game Expo when we went there together. And I really just wanted to highlight their collections and give a shout out to my buddies. So I'm going to play a little clip that they sent me, and we will revel in some of some of the stuff they have. We can talk about that when we get to it, but I'm going to play this.
Hi, my name is Warren. I go by the nickname No Mike Gamer.
Also, Warren and Ken are two of the best human beings you'll ever meet in your life.
I got 3 finds that I would like to show from my collection. This is Tekken for the PlayStation 1. This is the Japan version. We used to play this all the time in California, in the middle of nowhere. It'll be like pouring rain, and we'll just be playing PlayStation 1. So a lot of great memories here, a lot of nostalgia. Speaking of nostalgia, that goes to my second one. This is Golden Sun for the Game Boy Advance. Note, this is a sealed copy of Golden Sun. As you can see right here, if you can see it, there actually is the H seal. It's still on here. Found this for $5. I got really lucky. And speaking of that, this is not the only lucky thing I found. I want to show you my third item, the most coveted item that
is insane.
I have in my collection.
This is so insane.
This is the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack. I found it for $1 in a dollar bin. And you can only get this through Nintendo Power. If you look on eBay, it goes for a really high price. So, yeah, there it is. This is a bit of my collection. Thank you very much, Long Island. Back to you, Robby.
Oh my God, dude. Maybe you can elaborate a little, Warren, how you found that, because just finding it in a dollar bin just seems too good to be true. Ida, actually, I still have my original NES as well. Maybe at the end of the stream, I can show you guys the collection. We'll take the phone and go into the other room. Anyway, okay, so next up is Ken, his brother.
Hey everybody, my name is Ken. I am the older brother of Warren, and if you see behind me, that's my wall of games.
Ken is... When we went to the Portland Retro Game Expo, he literally had just stacks of games at the end of every day. But he was really smart about it, so it was always not that much money, just a big stack, though.
Supposedly, I guess, coming back into gaming. So a couple games that I wanted to show off from my collection. Games that I thought that have a special place in my heart. Number 1 from the 2600, Pitfall. Yes, Pitfall. So basically, it's another game, like how Warren said, we were playing in the middle of California somewhere when it was always raining. And besides that, Space Invaders and Berserk, that's where my gaming actually started and all that stuff. Next up, Super Dodgeball.
Also, Pitfall's a deep cut. I mean, not that that's the most not common game, but for somebody to pick that as one of their prizes from their collection, that's pretty interesting. Dodgeball too, for that matter.
A great or 1v1 sports.
Oh, look at that flicker.
If it's raining outside, gotta do something on the inside, and it's always nice to beat your older cousins and give them crap for it. And my last three, which is for the Sega Saturn.
Oh, this is crazy. This is insane.
Basically, I have, let's see here, Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Come on.
I have Radiant Silvergun.
Come on.
And I have Magic Knight Rare.
Come on.
Now, all three of these games, including maybe about like 4 or 5 more, plus the system I got back in the day, probably like around 99, 2000, got it all for $100.
$100? Come on, man. That makes me want to cry, dude.
You guys can figure that out yourself. But
the luck.
It does
the timing.
Kind of a sentimental piece of my heart. Not only does that, they're great games, especially for the Sega Saturn, but also my time working at the job that I was.
And Magic Knight Rare, come on, man.
And that's that's how my love of gaming was and back in the day. I don't want to take up too much time. Be good to Robby. He's one of my good friends, and thanks for having me. And back to Robby.
All right, Ken, you're the best, man. Yeah, Ken and Warren, great dudes. I just wanted to highlight their collections. But God, can you imagine that dude paying $100, getting a whole Saturn collection with Panzer Dragoon Saga in it? I'm not sure if Radiant Silvergun was in it. Maybe he mentioned it. Okay, but anyways, how I met them is another reason that I'm here today. I've done a lot of vlogs searching for games in Japan, and we met in person after they watched my videos online. And then we later went to Portland Retro Game Expo, which I highly recommended. I don't know if it's a competitor to Long Island Retro. You should go to both. Different coasts. But anyways, we were at a panel and we did some stupidity, and I just wanted to show this because it's fun.
All right.
You can see Warren's dance moves, my dance moves. Anyway, that was good times. So, Japan. I started learning Japanese in school when I was in 7th grade, and I specifically chose Japanese over other foreign languages because I wanted to play Japanese video games, especially because at the time, worldwide releases weren't really a thing yet. So there was often really a substantial wait. Like, I think the last one that I really did that with was Final Fantasy 13. It was a good 6 months before it came out in the US. It came out in Japan. Ironically, I could speak Japanese well enough to probably play through the game at that point, but then I guess the game wasn't as exciting as I had hoped, so I didn't play through it in Japanese. I later played through it in English. But anyways, in 2006, my junior year of college, I had a chance to spend a year studying Japanese at a school called Nanzan University in Nagoya, Japan. I got a whole bunch of pictures from there. This is actually the school. This is just the main courtyard. And it's funny now because that was like... Hold on a second. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure we're still good. It's funny now because this is 2006, 2005, and I'm looking at the people, the clothes they're wearing. I'm like, does that look different than it does now? I can't really tell. Actually, fashion in Japan was very different then. It was a lot more hodgepodge and weird and interesting and unique. I feel like that's a whole nother topic. Sorry. Anyways, this is classroom buildings. Little artsy shot of the classroom buildings with some shadows. Oh, I took another one. Oh, that was a nice picture. Not bad, not bad. I don't even take photos, but that's pretty good. Anyways, this type of sports field. If you've watched any anime ever, you've seen this a million times. And let me tell you, it feels just as magical in real life as it does in anime. Like the feeling that you get from looking at something like this and you're like, oh, what's that like to be hanging out there at the end of the day when everybody's going home and the sun's setting? It feels like it does in anime. Like just look at this picture right here. Look at the skyline in the distance. Japan is, if you have a desire to go to Japan and it's because of the way it looks and feels, go and you won't be disappointed. It does not disappoint in that aspect whatsoever. There's more clips. I thought this was interesting. This is a anti-smoking propaganda sort of deal from Detective Conan. You can see like a healthy lung and a diseased lung. But I thought that was interesting. It was like, oh yeah, they use anime to advertise stuff. It'd be so unique and weird to see that here, but it's pretty commonplace in Japan. This was actually my homestay room. And you can see lots of technology circa 2005, 2006. See a Sony Vaio laptop. This terrible chair that gave me back problems later. But this is just a typical Japanese room. And we got a bed there. And here, this is some stuff I bought as soon as I got to Japan. We got the Final Fantasy VII Ultimania. They released like a special Ultimania version for the game when Advent Children came out, which is the DVD right there on the right. And I also got the UMD video of Advent Children, which is ridiculous. Why did I buy that? And then on the right, you can see a copy of Oendon. I actually paid full price for that. Don't ever pay full price for games in Japan because the used market in Japan, we'll talk about that in a second, is so good. There's no reason to pay full price for games. And the games get sold so quickly that prices drop even quicker than they do here in the US. And then some various manga. I thought that was fried chicken. You thought what was fried chicken? Oh, the lungs. I was like, well, I forgot what I was talking about already. But yeah, those are lungs. Anyway, here's the view of the back of my homestay room. It's very evocative of that feel of a Japanese suburb, probably because it is. Okay, but so while I was there, I met a friend named Michael, and that's this guy right here. This was after we had a class where it was like 10 exchange students from various countries and then 10 Japanese students. And then we did this kind of like a sleepover, really, but we just used the dorms that they had. And then we all stayed overnight and then had like a drinking party before. It's like drinking parties is like a thing that you could even do with your teacher, which we did. But Michael, man, he had quite a bit to drink. His hair was looking a little funky, so he did the Goku Kamehameha. But anyways, we used to go to various used game shops, look at games both old and new. And it was especially thrill at that time because you could see RPGs, like the greats, for super low prices. Like I really regret, there was a copy of Live Alive for the Super Nintendo for 300 yen. Man, I passed that thing up so many times. I was like, oh, I don't need this. Now, even in Japan, man, that thing is like $40 to $80, depending on how good of the prices are, but I super regret it. Okay, so these are pictures from that era. This is, again, my room in Japan. This is a DS Lite that I actually stayed up all night in front of a store called Bic Camera to get. I don't have any pictures from that. I don't know what I was thinking, but I didn't take any pictures of actually waiting in line. But waited in line all night. It was exhausting, but I was able to get the DS Lite. And the DS was a phenomenon in Japan in 2005, 2006. Those things sold out immediately. And when the DS Lite was released, they were all sold out immediately. If you didn't wait in line all night, you wouldn't have gotten it. Right here is a cell phone, a Japanese cell phone from 2006, the old flip phone. This was good. This was like peak technology back then. Now it's like a joke, but that Rabbite is a pre-order bonus for Children of Mana. I pre-ordered that while I was in Japan. And then in the back, you can see a little Mr. Donut tissue paper. Mr. Donut's pretty good. It's a Japanese donut place. There's a picture of Oendon. This is a funny one. This is actually a capture card that I plugged into my laptop so that I could play Final Fantasy XII. That came out, man, I can't remember when exactly, but it was in that time period, and I bought the special edition PS2. And it was... That was a purchase that was an impulse purchase to some degree, but it was also Final Fantasy XII. I was in Japan for a Final Fantasy release. Anybody who grew up playing Final Fantasy would consider that a dream come true. So I was almost like, I need to do this for the other people who aren't here and able to buy this in Japan and experience this moment. And I was like, I don't have a TV. I need a way to play it. So I literally went upstairs to the big camera after I bought it. I was like, do you guys have capture cards? And I got this crummy capture card to play it. And then I did a whole bunch of experiments to try and make it look better. It still looks like complete trash. This is my DS game collection at the time. I think I just threw this into the talk just for the fun of it. But what's actually kind of interesting, there's a lot of Japanese games in here. You can see like Band Brothers at the top. That's that yellow kind of gradient text next to Animal Crossing. And below that's Oendon. And then on the right side, you got Electroplankton, and to the left, that Jump Superstars. Those are all Japanese games, but interestingly, 3 of them, my cousin Brian, he went to Taiwan and somehow bought them there. The only one I actually bought in Japan was Oendon, but I can play those games now and then immediately am transported back to that time period. Here's another impulse purchase while I was in Japan. This was real stupid because I actually had a PSP, but they were like, oh, but that's a white one. Which I don't understand. Like, at that time, my parents would give me money. I didn't have a job. I didn't really have an allowance either, but occasionally they'd be like, oh yeah, here's some money. I don't know why I spent the money on this, but look how gorgeous that thing is. I eventually broke the screen, so I don't still have that thing, but I guess I just threw this into the chat or to the talk so I could show it because it's cool. Anyway, I love looking at pictures like this, and it's like such a cool time capsule into the era. Recently, there was a guy named Pori64 on YouTube. I'm going to link his Twitter, Twitter, who posted these pictures from a Toys R Us. Oh, I guess I have more pictures of that era. Let me find the Toys R Us ones first, and then we'll get back to that. Okay, he posted pictures from Toys R Us in, I can't remember what year. Check his Twitter out, though. These pictures right here, I have literally had dreams before where I go to Target and the store shelves are stocked with Super Nintendo games in the sealed Super Nintendo games. And I just, like, when I wake up, I'm legitimately sad. I'm like, oh man, I wish that was real so bad. This is going to sound real stupid, but if I had a time machine, the first thing that I would do is I would go to Target or Toys R Us or wherever, and I would buy literally every video game they have in the store. I would buy every single one, and I'd just like sniff the packaging. I'd just be like, ah. I think you guys understand that feeling, though, if you're at a retro game convention. Even like if you're at this convention right here, where it's digital and you can't even go there in person, you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to show a few more pictures from that era. This is my senior year of college. This is an apartment I had with 2 other guys. This was our setup. The Xbox 360 was brand new. My roommate and I, we literally went half and half on it. Those speakers, those giant PA speakers, we don't even know where we got them from. I think somebody probably stole it and then gave them to my roommate. But we don't even know how we got those. But got a couple complaints from the neighbors. But anyways, you can see like Guitar Hero's guitar up there. That's definitely a sign of the times. Donkey Konga. That's technically a sign of the times, but I don't think anybody actually owned that game. It was just us. Oh, that was a good times though. Our Halo collection. We were obviously super into Halo at the time. I don't know why I just said obviously, but we were super into Halo. Couple interesting items up there. God Hand. Oh, how I regret selling God Hand. I sold lots of games in maybe 2012. I think everybody's had this experience where they've sold a bunch of their games and immediately regretted it and thought, what was I doing? Why did I sell that? Like, how much money did I get out of selling God Hand? Maybe like $20. I don't even care that it's expensive now. It's just the fact that I had bought it when it was dirt cheap. I probably paid $9 for it, brand new. And it was maybe not the best game, but it was so much fun. This is my actual game collection from that time. A lot of the stuff I don't have anymore. So I can look back at this and then just cry at the stuff that I sold. Like, actually, there's a copy of Golden Sun in that rack of Game Boy Advance games. Speaking of Warren's collection. And I really regret selling that, man. That copy of Advance Wars 2, I sold that also. Anyway, some more stuff. And none of it's all that interesting, but controllers... More controllers. There's a Halo 2 headset. More controllers. I still have most of this stuff, actually. Okay. Anyway, That was a long preamble thing. Okay, not preamble, tangent. Anyway, so Michael, I studied with him in Japan. He ended up moving to Japan permanently, and he started a family. So in 2015, I made a trip to visit him with the express purpose of vlogging the experience and also to buy lots of games. What's really interesting about the retro game scene in Japan, I was talking about this earlier, is that it's completely ubiquitous. There are used game stores and used shops everywhere. There's these two stores called Book Off and Hard Off. I know Hard Off is kind of it's kind of an unfortunate name, but it's basically an extension of Book Off. Book Off has music, movies, and games, and books, obviously. And then Hard Off will have lots of other stuff like toys, hardware, music equipment. But this is kind of the place that you want to go to if you want to buy games in Japan. You can always get nice, cheap prices. And like I was saying earlier, you can get them so much cheaper. Oh, actually, I didn't show this game. This is Kingdom Hearts 2. Obviously, you guys can read. But this is a used copy that I bought in Japan literally a month after it came out. And it was half price. Maybe not even a month. Maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. It wasn't very long. But I actually played this on the capture card that we showed earlier on that crummy laptop. Okay. For some reason, I put in my notes here that we're now going to switch to an arcade. So let me show you a little bit what a Japanese arcade looks like. Oh, no, this is still Book Off. Okay.
That's a nice looking PSP right there, that red one.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one looks great too.
That looks great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why does this say that this is the junk corner?
Because to them, this is junk.
It's like junk corner. 10 GameCubes for 300 yen each. That's less than $3 for those GameCubes. Yeah, so this is Hard Off. This is one that has a whole bunch of stuff in addition to games. At first I saw this price, I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. I was like, that was back in 1992, baby. Edition of this. This is a 30-year-old game at least. 94? Okay, so quick aside. That's what I was talking about. Japanese people take such good care of their games. You can get plenty of crap, and they'll sell it for crap prices, so that's even better for you. But if you want good condition stuff, all of it's good condition. A little yellowing on the boxes, but...
This is the junk area where I don't know if they don't test them or if they just look at them and they're like, oh, they look kind of dirty, but... It's 300 yen.
Yeah, just stacks of GameCubes. Wow.
$250 for GameCubes. $5 for an old Famicom.
At those prices, it makes me just want to get it for the sake of getting it.
That's what I did back in the day.
Okay, man, you know what's funny? I was preparing for this talk all week, and I was so paranoid that I wasn't going to have enough content to talk about, and we've got so much to go through still. I'm going to kind of skip ahead here a little bit. Basically, we did some more game shopping, took you around the Book Off and the Hard Offs. You can actually watch all of these on my YouTube channel. But yeah, let's skip ahead. Okay, great. All right, and then what is this clip? Okay, so this is the arcade. So anyway, here's a Japanese arcade. Let me show you some of this. We're going to the arcade right now. Apparently they don't allow video, but I'm going to try to sneak some anyway. Like most Japanese arcades are like super smoky. You know?
No, there's no smoking in arcades anymore.
They don't allow it anymore?
They finally got rid of it.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know how it works. That's real. He's really playing that game. That's not fake. There was no visual effects there. That DDR kid was the only guy who wasn't amazing at what he was doing. Everybody else was like doing everything flawlessly. This is the only time I've ever seen anybody fail in a Japanese arcade.
Please don't fall down another Thursday.
Well, I feel exhausted. Okay, so anyway, I had fallen down earlier in the trip. You can see that in the vlogs. Hold on, I gotta close this window real quick. Okay, sorry, I was getting blinded. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That was only 5 years ago. I aged so much in 5 years. Come on, man. Okay, so in addition to Book Off, there's another store called SoftMap, and we would go to this a lot when we were studying together in school. This is SoftMap. It's a big electronics chain in Japan. Used to have lots of used games and stuff, right?
They do.
They still have that? Okay.
This is the place you go to if you want to buy like computer parts to build your own computer.
Oh, yeah. That Vita is gorgeous, dude.
Rob has one.
Oh, man, yeah. Anyways, that's SoftMap. That's another place you can go. But the granddaddy of them all, when it comes to... oh, this is actually not the granddaddy. This is the biggest department store in Japan. It's called Bic Camera. It's where I got that DS Lite. That actually says it right there. That's Bic Camera in Japanese. This is like the model section?
Yeah.
They sell all sorts of stuff there. Lots of toys, lots of video games, little knickknacks like that. Amiibos. Okay, we don't need to show all that, but basically they have a little wheel where you roll it and then you can get a little prize. Here's a Burger King in Japan. I just put this in here for fun.
It was just a terrible location.
Let's read what it says.
They're just reforming it. I think they're just making it look nicer.
Yeah, but I think the only person who went to that Burger King was Michael. But okay, here is the granddaddy. If you go to Japan and you want to look for retro games, when you buy them, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you'll go to Book Off, your Heart Off, the small stores. But if you just want to go look and have a good time and be like, oh man, this is what it's like to be in one of these amazing Japanese video game stores, you go to a place called Super Potato. It is in Akihabara, which is the Japanese video game mecca. Well, basically the video game mecca of the world. This is the entrance. There's a bunch of them, but that Mario Brothers looking writing says Super Potato. So what's the history on Super Potato? Why is it so famous?
I think it's because it has like the most collection of retro games.
This place is awesome.
Than what you've seen. They find a lot of rare games here too.
This is a CD by one of my favorite composers, but that is a little bit too expensive. I've bought many $30 CDs, but not today. It looks like it's an arcade.
This is a game here.
Okay, that is something you'll definitely see if you ever go there. Is you go to the top floor, they have an arcade. You'll be greeted by Snake, and you're like, I'm at Super Potato. Sure. And then just all the walls lining it have all sorts of cool stuff. Anyway, Super Potato, amazing. Michael, he has been living in Japan since 2007, 2008. With all of this retro gaming and cheap prices, he amassed a gigantic collection. So Michael has used me being here as an excuse to go fill out his collection a little bit. And his collection is sizable. So let's go ahead and take a good look at everything he has. It's a custom paint job he did on that Super Nintendo, actually. And I guess he was waiting to do that on that Game Gear. Was that a Game Gear? That's Game Gear, right? Of course, he's got a CRT. I think he got that CRT on the side of the road in Japan. Oh, yeah. And that was actually a pickup that I got that day. That's Macross for the Sega Saturn. I think I just started that was the start of my Saturn collection. Okay, man, I put way too much in this talk. Okay, he has a incredible Rockman / Mega Man collection too. I'll just show part of it.
Collection 00200304. It's called Rockman. Rockman Dash, Game Boy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, X and X2. Some files. Japanese.
Oh man, yeah. And then he bought this Mega Man E-Tank energy drink. And we tried it.
Up. Cheers to a awesome 10 days of more games. Here we go.
Thank you for hosting me.
I was expecting it to be carbonated.
It's not yet. It's not. It's like juice.
Okay, but anyways, that's probably not as nostalgic for you guys as it is for me, obviously, because you weren't there. But you guys know the feeling that I'm talking about. When you go there and you have some experience with video games and then you relive it. My cousin and I, we always joke, we call it living and reliving. But speaking of my cousin, so my YouTube channel, we do the outdoor backpacking stuff. We go out into the forest and we see the world and, see all these cool like national parks and stuff. But we always relate it to video games because when growing up, we were always indoor kids and we'd play video games and that was our experience of the outside world. So now it's kind of like backwards instead of maybe it's not actually backwards, but we experience it backwards to the norm. Anyway, we went to Hawaii, right? And let me just show you the clips first. Look at this landscape. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. And then look at this. The landscape too, but look at this bird coming up. All right, you see that bird? Look at that bird.
But there's another side.
Okay. I gotta do some little. Hold on. I gotta do something. Okay. Yeah. You're gonna see the green screen because I need to be able to show you this. Look at the cover of Secret of Mana. I always thought this was just some fantastical landscape with some made up birds that somebody pulled out of their head and their imagination. Then I went to Hawaii. I was like, oh. This is just inspired by all these tropical landscapes. Is it tropical? I guess it shows that I mostly just play video games. But like those birds are the exact birds. Those birds right there. Those are the same birds. They're just red. It's like, oh yeah, let's make them a little more fantastical. And then all this greenery, it looks just like Hawaii. All this time I've been like, oh, this looks just like a video game. It turns out that real life is the inspiration for the video games. I just got it backwards. Okay, but anyways, man, still so much. Okay, so we talked about a little bit of nostalgia. We talked about some Japan. Now I want to talk about our boy Kojima. He has something on his Twitter. Game creator. 70% of my body is made of movies. There is nothing more true that has been ever said about a human being than that right there. First off, the cutscenes in his games, they might as well just be movies, first of all. But you can make a strong case that Metal Gear Solid is really just Escape from New York, the video game. Look at this. Look at this.
S.B. Pliskin. Call me Snake.
My name is Pliskin. Iroquois Pliskin, Lieutenant Junior Grade.
Sorry, I ripped that from YouTube and somebody had Spanish subtitles on there. But anyways, you get the idea. Look at this. Come on, man. Escape from New York is literally just the first Metal Gear Solid. Well, although this is Metal Gear Solid 2. But anyway, and then now he literally just takes people from movies and puts them in his games. But what I think Kojima is really bringing to the table and why so many people resonate with his games is that he just uses his unique experiences and his memories to make his art. That's what we're really resonating with, is that he's bringing himself to the table. This is not like designed by committee. And the word auteur gets thrown around a lot. But what I really think it means is just when someone is totally themselves in their art. Like their art is them. That is what makes an auteur. And I think you could also make the argument, it's like, well, is he actually doing anything original? And I think so, because even though he's pulling all of these references, there's a great video by a dude named Kirby Ferguson called Everything is a Remix. I'm going to play a clip of that right now.
Remix. To combine or edit existing materials to produce something new. The term remix originally applied to music. It rose to prominence late last century during the heyday of hip-hop, the first popular music form to incorporate sampling from existing recordings.
Okay, that is an amazing video. I just linked it in the chat. Highly, highly recommend you watch it. Anything Kirby Ferguson does is amazing. He doesn't have many subscribers, but the dude's an amazing filmmaker. Anyways, Kojima is not a hip-hop artist, but he definitely takes what he's previously seen and combines these into like this new delicious soup that you've never had before, and it has just such a, uniqueness about it. Anyways, let's circle back real quick to the Kojima signing from 2008. Okay, so two things about that. On the screen above Kojima, they were playing the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4 on loop. And I had been avoiding watching this trailer for spoilers, so literally the whole time I was trying not to watch it. And the dude who yelled at Kojima was actually me. I'm not sure if you could tell, but I was so excited I had to yell out to my boy. Signing stuff.
All right, where we at? Virgin Mega Store here in New York City to see Kojima.
These are just random dudes who were in line with me. We were just like all instantly like best friends ever.
Kojima, dude. Kojima. Right over there. This place is ridiculous.
I'll take a video, but I don't know how.
So kakoi in Japanese it's cool technically, but you can also use it as like, for a guy, you can say like, oh, that guy's hot. So it has that kind of connotation that he said that. So it was quite funny. And everybody knows what senpai is, obviously. Okay, here's some more pictures. This dude came in dressed as Big Boss, had the exclamation point in the back of his hair. There's another dude who is straight Metal Gear Solid 3 in it. And then he does some CQC on a guy. That was great. And then actually we barely made the cutoff. Like they kept cutting off the line. I don't know if the people behind us eventually were able to get there. But anyways, oh man, we're running out of time. We can do this though. Oh, and I meant to say that Metal Jesus was starting at 7 for those of you who are interested in catching out Metal Jesus, but that was 24 minutes ago. Okay, so this was the box that I had him sign. Earlier in the day, I had gotten because I don't think this was a midnight release. This was just the night. But anyway, I might be getting my stuff mixed up. Anyways, I got the special edition from GameStop at some point. But this copy right here, I need to make this. There we go. It's actually signed by him right here. And then up here is Yumi Kikuchi, which is the woman who is sitting next to him, also signing. She was one of the beasts from Metal Gear 4. If you guys have played it, there was 4 beasts. But yeah, that's the signature right there. That was good times. Okay, so to wrap everything up a little bit, I think we actually kind of might maybe time this perfectly. Earlier I was talking about these gaming moments in our lives. And then within those games, there are moments in themselves. And I would say, I mean, I've never actually counted, but Kojima has so many amazing moments from his games. I don't have all of them, obviously, but think back to like Psycho Mantis.
I can see into your mind. So, you like Suikoden. So, you like Azure Dream?
No, nobody liked Azure Dreams.
You like Castlevania, don't you? You enjoy role-playing games. I see that you enjoy Konami games.
I actually don't think the first time I played, I had any Konami saves on there. So the only thing he gave me was like, oh, I see you're cautious. You like to save a lot. But I can't remember now. But anyways, that was an amazing moment. And then when he made the controller vibrate, you're just like, oh my God, this is a thing they can do in video games. And then fast forward to Metal Gear Solid 4, the microwave hall mashing the triangle button. So wasn't there, you know, just Snake. Anybody who played that game, especially when it first came out, I guarantee you everybody had the same experience where they were just like, come on, Snake, you gotta make it. Okay, the ladder scene from Metal Gear Solid 3, come on. Come on, man. What a thrill. Wait, is this music playing? Oh yeah, there it goes. Sorry, I'm not going to play the whole thing. This is last like 10 minutes, but... Oh, man. Oh, sorry. I give my life, not for honor. Okay, but anyways, anybody who played that game, you know what I'm talking about. You're going up the ladder and you're like, this is taking a long time. And then it just keeps going and going and going. And the sound, oh, man, that is one of the best games ever. But the thing about Kojima is he adds these details and these moments in every one of his games. It's these little touches, like they don't really seem like that big a deal in isolation, but they're really everything, especially when you look at the whole picture of the game. So earlier I was talking about the first time I played the Metal Gear 1 demo. I want to show you what that experience was like and the things that stuck out to me the very first time I played it. Oh, we got 2 minutes. Crap. Am I allowed to go over? I don't even know. Okay, well, real quick. The way the angle changes when you press your back against the wall, and then with the credits on screen, those two, like that blew my mind at the time. And then the exclamation point above the head, that's been done in manga a million times. The credits on the screen have been done in cinema a million times, and like cool cinematic angles have obviously been done in films as well. But putting them all together in one package in a game, oh God, it was just mind-blowing. He puts all of those touches in like just a slightly different way than the originals, and it's so unique. Okay. But my final point, I would say that Kojima is the most nostalgic of all the game makers. For one thing, he actually has a legacy that he can reach back to. And you saw that at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4 when you're doing your fight with Liquid. And then they're playing the music from the first game. Then they switch over to Metal Gear Solid 2 and they got the Tanker Incident song. Then they go over to Metal Gear Solid 3 and they've got Snake Eater in the background, my all-time favorite video game vocal track. And then Metal Gear Solid 4... They got Old Snake. Oh, man. Okay. So he draws upon this legacy that he has. And he's built up this legacy. So there's stuff to draw on there. And I think maybe the culmination of that was in Metal Gear Solid 4 when you actually return to Shadow Moses. Like you're playing the game. Chapter 4 finally loads up. It took forever back in the day because of PlayStation 3. You had to load each chapter individually until they made a patch way later. But at the time, you had to install each chapter individually. So if you wanted to go to another chapter, you had to uninstall the old one, and it was a nightmare. But they suddenly put you in the 2D, and then he wakes up into the 3D again, and then you go back to Shadow Moses, and they've got the ending theme song from Metal Gear Solid 1. He understands the legacy that he's built and the emotion that people feel towards it, and he used that. And, you know, this sequence might not have meant anything. Excellent. Yeah, just the...
Nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Oh, come on, dude. It's like almost brings tears to your eyes just thinking about it. Just this incredible, like, legacy. Like, years. This game came out in 1998, and then 10 years later, Metal Gear Solid 4 came out and is wrapping up the whole story. And this, so as I was saying, this sequence wouldn't mean anything unless you didn't have 10 years of memories of playing these games. Like, this particular area of Shadow Moses, I spent hours of that, hours just playing that in the demo. And even if that was the full game, it still would have been a masterpiece to me. So anyway, I think if there's one thing I want you to take away from this talk, is that the nostalgia you feel towards gaming, and really anything, but gaming in particular, is something to be cherished. I was reading up on nostalgia before the talk, and apparently it was considered as a sickness for a while. And I think that's ridiculous. The memories you have only get better with age. And that's why we do things like go to retro expos and talk about old game. It's to look back at a life full of these great moments, these great memories and experiences, and cherish them. Be like, oh, it was all worthwhile, man. So, I'm glad we could do that together for an hour and 2 minutes. Oh, this song? Come on, man. I didn't realize this song was going to play at the end, but now I'm feeling that emotion. I'm sweating in here because it's really hot. But thank you guys. That is the end of the talk. I'm just going to stop talking now. Check out the links in the chat that I posted. And thank you, everyone. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Let's not talk about Metal Gear Solid 5. It's a little too sad. It's a little too sad. I agree. Okay, but anyways, yeah, thank you guys. I guess I'll just let this play out. And then I'll hit stop streaming. Thank you guys for joining. Check out Metal Jesus and whatnot. And enjoy the rest of the expo. I'll see you later.